There's a kind of intelligence that isn't safe. It doesn't come from degrees, diplomas, or classrooms. It isn't taught in schools because if it were, society would collapse overnight. This intelligence doesn't make you smart in the way most people use the word. It makes you dangerous. It makes you unreadable. It makes you untouchable. This isn't about trivia or memorizing facts or looking clever in debates. That's what average men chase. No, this is the intelligence that Machiavelli admired. The kind that doesn't shine, it lurks. The kind that doesn't need to roar, it whispers and still everyone listens. The kind of intelligence that doesn't just play the game, it rewrites the rules while others don't even realize the board has changed. And if you master it, you'll never see the world the same again. Because this type of intelligence doesn't just protect you, it weaponizes you. The shadow mind. Picture this. A crowded room. Voices overlap. Laughter fills the air. Everyone's trying to be seen to prove their worth. And then he walks in. Not the loudest, not the richest, not the most handsome. But suddenly, the room changes. Conversations stumble. Eyes flicker. People feel something shift. That's presence. That's power. And it doesn't come from looks, money, or status. It comes from a mind sharpened into a weapon. Machiavelli said, men are driven by two principal impulses. Either by love or by fear. But here's the secret. He didn't spell out. If you master perception, you don't need love or fear. You need control. Control of the narrative, control of silence, control of yourself. That's the dark intelligence you're about to learn. Why? Most people will never get it. Let me tell you something ugly. Most people aren't living. They're reacting. They wake up. They scroll. They obey. They complain. They defend their illusions. Like children clutching toys. They argue. Not because they're strong, but because they're weak. They shout because they're afraid of silence. They pretend to be confident while their entire identity is built on sand. And when you study them closely, you'll see it. The cracks, the insecurities, the desperation. That's where dangerous intelligence begins. Not with more knowledge, but with ruthless observation. You don't just hear words. You hear the lies hiding inside them. You don't just watch faces. You read the micro-expressions they can't control. You don't just let silence pass, you weaponize it until it makes people break. Most men think intelligence is about answers. They're wrong. The truly intelligent man knows the power is in the questions. The first transformation. At first, people will call you quiet, but they won't understand that you're listening harder than they've ever listened in their lives. You'll hear the man who jokes too much, not because he's funny, but because he's begging for approval. You'll see the woman who brags, not because she's strong, but because she's bleeding insecurity. You'll spot the traitor before he betrays, because you've already noticed the nervous glance, the shift in tone, the subtle delay before he answers. This is how it begins. You're not smart in the school boy sense. You're becoming 5 seconds faster, 5 steps ahead. And when you're 5 steps ahead, your enemies never even realize they've already lost. The traits of dangerous intelligence. Now, let's break down the 5 lethal traits Machiavelli would demand you master if you want to become dangerously smart. Trait 1. Emotional coldness. Your emotions are not your master anymore. You don't suppress them, you study them. Your anger becomes analysis. Your fear becomes foresight. Your sadness becomes strategy. While others explode, you calculate. That's why your silence feels heavy. Why people panic when you don't react. Because in your stillness, they feel your mind sharpening. Trait 2. Surgical observation. You don't look at people, you dissect them. The trembling hands, the forced smile, the too fast answer, the silence that comes half a second too late. You see it all. You don't even need their confession. You already know. And here's the part that unnerves them the most. They feel seen. And being truly seen terrifies people more than being hated. Machiavelli wrote, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Understand this and you'll never again be surprised by betrayal. Trait 3, controlled. Presence. When you enter a room, you don't chase attention. You don't beg for validation. You move with purpose. People feel your weight before you even speak. Why? Because mystery is more powerful than noise. They can't read you. They can't predict you. And what people can't understand, they fear. You don't dominate by being everywhere. You dominate by being rare. Rarity is power. Trait 4, strategic speech. Most men speak to fill silence. You speak to plant ideas. Every word is a move. Every pause is a weapon. You don't argue. You don't convince. You make people convince themselves. Your words don't just communicate, they infect. That's why, when you speak, conversations bend your way. Not by force, but by precision. Trait 5, ruthless self-reliance. And this is the ultimate. You stop needing anyone. You stop chasing approval, applause, or understanding. You become your own source of validation. And once a man reaches that point, he's untouchable. No guilt, no shame, no manipulation works on him. The silent metamorphosis. Understand this. Becoming dangerously intelligent doesn't happen overnight. It's not a hack. It's a metamorphosis. Slowly, you stop being the man who reacts. You stop being the man who explains. You stop being the man who gets drawn into petty conflicts. You become something colder, sharper, like a blade hidden beneath velvet. They think you're still harmless, still quiet, still normal. But they don't realize they're already caught in your net. You've been positioning, watching, studying for months, maybe years, and by the time they realize, it's already too late. That's the true Machiavellian transformation. Not when you get smarter, but when you get dangerous. How to use this intelligence in real life? Now, let's get practical. Because dark intelligence is useless if you don't apply it. Here's how you begin using it today. 1. Control conversations without dominating them. Let others talk. Extract information. Ask questions that sound innocent but cut deep. Don't reveal yourself. Guide them into revealing themselves. 2. Use silence as a weapon. Most people crumble under silence. Wait, hold eye contact. Let them feel your stillness. They'll talk themselves into submission. 3. Mirror, then redirect. If someone's angry, reflect it, then twist it towards someone else. If they're proud, feed their pride until it pushes them where you want. They won't even realize you were pulling the strings. 4. Punish with absence, not noise. When someone crosses you, don't argue. Don't chase. Don't explain. Disappear. Withdraw. Access. Nothing haunts a manipulator more than silence from the one they couldn't control. 5. Never reveal your full depth. Show 60%, hide 40%, let them think they figured you out. Because when people feel safe, they get sloppy. And when they get sloppy, you win the battlefield of relationships. Here's the arena where most men fail. Relationships. They lose their intelligence the second emotions get involved. They beg. They explain. They surrender power in the name of love or loyalty. But the dangerously intelligent man, he doesn't play that game. He understands every interaction is negotiation, every silence is information, every reaction is leverage. He doesn't chase. He doesn't argue. He vanishes, and that absence becomes a presence more powerful than any words. This is why people begin to change their behavior around him. Not because he demanded it, but because they feel it. They know they can't manipulate him. They know proximity to him is a privilege, and that makes him untouchable. The final form. At this point, you're not just smart, you're unreadable. You're unshakable. You're unstoppable. You've become the fox Machiavelli praised. The one who wins not by roaring like a lion, but by moving in silence, striking with precision, leaving no fingerprints. This is the mind that doesn't need to be loud to be feared. The mind that doesn't need recognition to dominate. The mind that doesn't seek revenge. It erases people. That's what it means to become dangerously smart. Not the kind of intelligence they teach, the kind of intelligence they fear. So, if you're still here, understand this. You're not just curious anymore. You're ready. Ready to stop being predictable. Ready to stop being manipulated. Ready to become dangerously intelligent. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you soon.